Good morning, everybody. This is Heather from Princess's Paper Projects, and I'm going to show you my first video today. I'm doing this video today because my friend Janice at Pause, Dream and Joy has a fun fold card challenge. And what better way to show you a fun fold card than a video instead of just explaining the steps. So this is the card we are going to make. It's called a crisscross card. It has an insert that you can write a note to whoever you're sending the card to. So I'm just going to show you how to make this and let you know what you need in order to do it. So the first thing that you will need is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, just an average piece of cardstock. The second thing is a 12-inch piece of cardstock by 1.5 for the band. You also will need 2 squares that are cut at 5 1/4 long by 4 inches wide. Now if you're using double-sided cardstock, you can make one and just cut it in half and use one of each side. But because I'm only using single cardstock, I had to cut 2, and then you just cut them diagonally across to make 2 triangles. That's what you need for the card base. For the insert, you will need 3 things. You will need, or however you want to do it, I just did it with 3. I needed my first piece of cardstock, which is cut at 5 1/4 by 3.5. And then I have the piece of printed cardstock, or actually it's just paper, that's cut at 2/8 of an inch smaller, just so that you can see a small border of green. And then I have my white cardstock, or my cream cardstock, where you can write a sentiment, and it's cut at 4 3/4 by 3 inches, and it just goes in the middle. And we'll need that a little bit later, so I'll show you. And you need ink and bling and embellishments and stamps. So first things first, what you need to do is you'll need to take your 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and cut it in half at 4 1/4 by 8.5. Just the same way you were doing a standard card. So we're pretending we're just making a standard card. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and just cut in half, so it gives you 2 pieces of cardstock. And I do not need my trimmer, so I will put that away for a second. And you take each of these pieces of cardstock, you fold them in half, and crease them with your bone folder, so that you end up with 2 pieces, card openings on the opposite sides. So this one would go this way. Just line it up, fold it with your bone folder, nice crisp, clean. So you get 2. One goes this way, one goes this way, goes together like this for our card base. But before we do our card base, we have to cut these in triangles. This does get a little tricky. So basically you go from right to left on one corner and left to right on the other. So let me cut the first one, and then I will figure out how to do the second one. And this is a good way to just, if you know your trimmer, this is good. You take the card, you have your fold right here, and you line it up where it's going to cut on your triangle. So I'll bring my blade down and cut like that. So you end up with a piece like this. And then you do that for the other side. Now this one went this way. So the part that we want to cut off would be this part. So I'm going to put it into my trimmer like this. It's the top part that I want to cut off. Now if this does trim off backwards, because I've done that a couple times, what I did was I just changed the fold in the bone folder, and it works out. So you get 2 pieces like this, and they go together like so. So I do not need my trimmer now, especially since I've already cut my pieces. Now we're going to put the card base together. I have my ATG gun. I'm going to add the tape along here. Put my card base together. Okay. just like so, so that you end up with something that looks like that first. Okay, and I've made one before. I made one out of the original color because this is the color that I was going to do it in, but I didn't have another 8.5 by 11 of this cardstock. So this is your first step. Then those triangles that I told you about, you put the first one down like so on this side. So let's get that one down. First triangle on this side, and then you piece ATG the bottom of that, and again the same thing exactly with the other side. And this needs to be a little crisper. There we go. And same thing with the other side. We do triangles, ATG along the edge, down on the triangle, where it fits, take out the excess ATG, and just a strip of ATG along there, and you fold the other side down. So now we have our crisscross card base. See how it's crisscrossed with the little pocket there, so that we can add our. And then we have the band part. The band part. I just centered my band around my card base. I folded it over like this. I'm sure there's probably a more scientific way to do it, but this is how I did it. I made sure it was straight. I folded it over, and I used my bone folder to form the band. I said, I'm sure there's probably a much more scientific way to do this one, but that's how I found was easiest for me. And then to make it into the band, I just ATG'd it and put it together. So that's the band around the card. I added, the next thing I did was added my sentiment. I stamped that on. That's a pink stamp, my pink stamper, thinking of you. And then I put the ribbon around and the embellishments on it. I'm not going to do that on camera because that takes a while, but this was the finished result. I still have each. I can make it exactly like this. I'm going to show you how to do the inside as well quickly, and then that's my fun fold card. So we have the 3 pieces that we have cut out. I gave you the measurements before. 5 1/4 by 3 1/2 for the first one. This one is 2/8 of an inch smaller all the way around, or 2/16, not 2/8, 2/16 smaller all the way around for the printed one, and then 4 1/4 by 3 for that one. So what I did, I took a little piece of ribbon, and now I didn't cut this out, and I should have, but I just took glue dots and put my ribbon, put a glue dot there to form the little loop, put it down, and then I put this on top so that you don't actually see the glue dots or where the ribbon goes in to pull for the pull tab. So that's how I did that, and then put a little embellishment on top of it. So that's how you do the sentiment as well. The inside, and then I put a little glue dot there. I stamped just a little fancy stamp there and added a little embellishment. So that's how we make this fun fold card, this crisscross card. This is what you end up with. It's a fun card. It's just a little bit different, and you see how it goes like that. So I hope you try one. I've enjoyed doing this. I hope you've enjoyed watching my first video, and I hope I will be back with some again in a little bit. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Bye now.